Hello, everyone. I think that we can start our today's session. Today we have got Prithwish, who is a product manager from Atlassian. Also, as a supporter, we have got Diksha, which you can know from our previous session about IT operations in Jira Service Management. Today, our topic is the third part. Today, we will talk about prevent and protect, change automation for safer releases. As previous session, this session will be published on YouTube channel, and here you can see part number 1, part number 2. So scan QR code, or I can also put a link to the previous session on the chat. And of course, this meeting also will be published after our session. As during the others session, we will have a survey after the session with your feedback. So any insights, any feedback from your side will be really welcomed, because it can help us to create better sessions in the future. I guess that we can go to the next slide. Yeah. So agenda for today is a short reminder about prevent, detect, life cycle, which you can know from previous session. After that, we will talk about change tracking and gating for DevOps teams. And the next one will be risk analysis, assets, and change calendar. Of course, we will have got time for Q&A session, and we will have time after first one and second part of our session, and we will have in the end general Q&A. So if you have got any questions during the presentation, please put your question on the chat. We have got also a separated Q&A section, and we will be able to quickly find your questions, and I hope that you will receive a reply on all of you. And of course, we will also invite you for another session in our series about more advanced things in Jira Service Management. So today we will finish IT operations, but we will continue these advanced topics, and the next session will be about playbooks. But we will come back to it in the end. And now let's start with quick reminder about prevent, detect, resolve lifecycle. If you participated in previous sessions, I'm pretty sure that you know this diagram, but short reminder. So on the first session, we talked about the detect phase, where effective alert management makes all the difference. During last session, our focus was especially on the resolve phase. So once alert is triggered and assigned, the clock starts ticking, and in this space, we have to mobilize our response teams efficiently. So we talked about on-call rotations, some escalation policies, and real-time collaboration. Today, in our third part, we would like to talk about prevent phase. In this phase, our goal is to stop problems before they occur by identifying some risk early and putting some safeguards in place to minimize any vulnerabilities in the future, and also reduce the chance of incidents, because incidents, this is what we would like to rather avoid than have in the future. So in this space, we need to think how to prevent and don't have it in the future. So now I think that we can start with our first part of our presentation, and Prithwish, the stage is yours. So let's start.
Thank you, Kate. Hi, everyone. My name is Prithwish. I'm a senior PM at Atlassian. I oversee the change management functions with an intention to prevent incidents and make the change process better for everyone. So Kate mentioned incidents and recurring incidents. This is one of the primary goal for the operations part of JSM, that we help you prevent incidents in a much more seamless way. We already have discussed the areas in alerts and in incidents and in post-incident reviews, all these areas where the improvements that we have made, how you can use them to reduce the number of incidents. But what actually came out last year from one of the study that we did, that one of the major reason for incidents is change, or you can say lack of change process. So how are your changes being managed in your company? Are you Do you have kind of a robust approval process for the changes that are being done on critical systems? For example, if you have a service for billing, if it goes down because of a faulty change, your business will be impacted, right? So we have this critical systems which needs to always have 90 more than almost 100% uptime. Any disruption there will actually impact your business. So do we have a robust change process? Here we will talk about two things. Before that, just feel free to post if you have encountered uh, you know change actually creating more and more incidents for your team. Please let us know. We would love to know that. But what we are going to do is we are going to talk about 4 change management process through which you can actually address the incident or recurring incidents in your system. We'll start with something very near and dear to all the teams who work with DevOps teams, and you have a lot of DevOps teams, deploying their changes in the systems that you are managing or supporting. We are calling this as deployment tracking and deployment approvals. What does that mean? So let's say you are working with a DevOps team. It's using CI/CD tools. It can be Bitbucket, it can be Jenkins, GitHub, GitLab, etc. And they are continuously checking in their code into the service or the infrastructure that you are managing, primarily service because it's a DevOps team. So what happens is we have customers who used to uh, track all these changes either through Jira, which doesn't fully give you the context. They track these changes through Confluence or Google Docs, maybe a team managing all these changes and taking decisions whether they will be approved or not, maybe in a weekly sync. So what happens is all these are manual, right? You may miss certain changes, you may miss certain impact of a changes. The impact of this change is not readily visible. You have to talk to people to understand the impact. You don't know the history, so it becomes a mess. And what happens because of this kind of manual process is you end up getting P1 incidents, right? So what I'm going to show you is a way how you can connect this third party tools with JSM. And if you have Jira, it's even better, how you can connect all these apps and manage it automatically. Deployment tracking means you can track what changes has been made, so that when you are investigating an incident, it's readily available to you. You can use it for audit. Deployment approval means it's not only tracking, but you can also say that, hey, this change goes through, this change doesn't, right? You can make those approval decisions. Right now, we support the 6 CI/CD tools for deployment tracking. So you can just connect them from Atlassian Marketplace with JSM and start using it. And I'll show you how you can do that. The Apart from Circle CI and Octopus Deploy, the other tools, we also support the approval process so that you can completely remove all your manually change tracking process with this. How does it work? Let's take a quick look at Jira, how Jira, GitHub, and JSM comes together for deployment gating or deployment approvals. You can replace GitHub with Bitbucket, Jenkins, GitHub, and GitLab, uh, and process remains more or less the same with certain changes. So we'll start with a task in Jira, right? You have a change either because there's an incident going on, you have to change something, or there's a new feature. there's a new billing, billing provider that you need to add, right? So we all start with a task in Jira. Jira already have this integrations, so it's the same integrations. For example, here you can integrate with GitHub, you can integrate with Bitbucket. So we will see a GitHub. So this is the Jira screen, and most of you may be aware of this. You can simply connect Jira with GitHub from Atlassian Marketplace, and just connect your repository and projects. This list will start appearing, and you can choose a specific GitHub repository to check in or create a task. So that's what we are trying to do here. We are using an existing GitHub branch, where of course you can create a new one. And then we'll move to the GitHub screen, and we will change something. Let's say we have made that changes in the code, and we are checking in and creating a pull request. This is the pull request view. So this is the list of all the pull request view. It is created. Now, what happens is, because this GitHub is connected to your JSM instance, it will not automatically proceed with the deployments. It will pause the deployment in GitHub. What it's going to do is, from a change approver perspective, it will create two different changes for two different deployments. Now, here we have a scenario where we are trying to deploy in both the development environment and the production environment. So think from a change approver's perspective. I am trying to approve a change in both dev and prod. If I am not ready to approve this change, it's basically what's going to happen is, probably I'm ready to approve the dev change, but not the production change. So in this scenario, I will approve the dev change. So you will see this approval button right out of the box in JSM. It will automatically select who's the change approval board member, who is the right approver. So you can set up all those workflows, and it will automatically, it will let you approve or reject a change. So let's say we approve the dev change, but we decline the production change, because as a change approver, I don't feel comfortable approving a production change before I see the impact of the change in development environment. So what's going to happen, if you had a manual process, you need to communicate that over email or Slack or Teams, and then someone from the dev team will actually decline or something. Here, there is no such thing. The moment you make a decision here, it will automatically reflect in the JSM, so that later you can track this in your incidents. Okay, on this specific service, what changes have been made, right? So when you're investigating an incident, you will get this list out of the box, and then it will reflect in the dev. So this is GitHub. GitHub proceeds with the deployment. It stops, it restarts those two processes which were paused. It proceeds with the development deployment, and it cancels the production deployment, right? So there's no communication. There's just, it happens automatically. And the developer can also click on this link, and they can go and see why the change was declined in the comments. So you can also go and see that in JSM. And then this will not only give you the update in third-party tool, which is GitHub or JSM, but it will also reflect in Jira. In Jira, you can see that the request that you have sent, the task that you have created, got deployed in dev environment, but not in production. So any Jira user, the task or the change owner can also, so change owner, change implementer, and change approver, all of them can automatically see this this process, right? How you can set it up, it is extremely simple. So I will just move out of the presentation mode, and I will show you where you can set this up. So go to any project settings. If you have JSM premium license, this is, by the way, available in premium and enterprise, because change management is only available in those two licenses. And if you have used advanced ITSM template for your project creation, you will see this change and incident management settings under operations. So I will just show you how you can reach there. This is my project. I click on here, go to project settings, and then scroll down to the change management. The first pipeline is deployment pipelines. You can enable the deployment pipeline and then choose which tool you have. If you have Bitbucket, there's a separate section because it's a first-party tool and we have deeper integration with Bitbucket, so you can simply connect here. You can use an existing service. Let's say I am using a change management demo service, which I want to select, and then you can select any Bitbucket repository that you have access to. And you can create this connection from here. If you want any other tools, so you can just click here and follow this process. We have a very uh, detailed setup process. Diksha, maybe you can share the links for deployment getting here in the chat. And we will also send it across when we send you the further details. We have very good documentation and Bloom videos or screenshots in some cases, step-by-step setup process, which you can just set it up one time and then it works flawlessly going forward for that specific project. Okay, before moving to the next section, let's take the questions if you have any.
Okay. So now I don't have any questions on the chat, but if someone has got, please put it on the chat.
Okay, so I think there was a question how we can see the Jira screen. So Jira screen was there in the first slide. Let me reshare that. This is the Jira screen, right? This is a Jira project. And I'm creating a task, create an issue. This is a Jira issue. This is not JSM. This is happening in Jira because your change request, right? The request for change can come from any sources. We are showing here Jira, but you can of course create it in JSM as well. If you want to create it in JSM, the way to do that is create, select the walk type as change, or if you have created your custom change walk types, use that. Use the request type. By default, you will get a change request and you can create changes from here itself. I hope that clarifies the question.
I don't see any more questions. We have got also on chat links from Diksha. Okay. Separate context possibly. What are the conditions when a check-in shows in dev panel? This is the question from the chat.
Yeah. So there is no condition per se. You can, of course, put conditions in your GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket repository settings. When you are configuring this, you can put conditions. But if you are connecting the JSM project with, sorry, okay, let me understand the question first. Not all check-ins slow in the dev panel.
So yeah. I guess the question is that in this screen, you had some cross icons in production, I guess. Yeah, exactly. It was the screen, yeah.
Right. Okay, so let's say you have 5 repositories. You can pick and choose which repository you want to connect with the JSM. You can connect the first 2 repositories so that the rest of the 3 repositories, there is absolutely no connection with JSM. So they will go forward as they are doing right now. The 2 repositories, every deployment that you make will be part of the JSM, will go through that process. Now, if you want some deployments to be auto-approved, you can do that. We have JSM automations. You just say that, hey, if this deployment is connected to service 1, auto-approve. If this deployment is connected to service 2, which may be a higher, see, you need approvals for the tier 1 services, the top tier, the most critical services, not on every service. So you can set up those automations rules easily. You can simply go to this automation section under your projects. You can create a new rule here and say that, hey, for the change types, if they're connected to a tier 2 service or this XYZ service, auto approve the change. Okay. Perfect. All right, so let's move to the next section. This is going to be a little bit even more interesting because we will show you how it looks like in the screens itself. So we talked about how you can approve or how you can connect your repositories with JSM, how you can automate that process from Jira to the CI/CD tools to JSM and then back to Jira and the entire cycle. But in addition to the process, you will need to make certain decisions as a change approver to approve or reject a change, right? So how do you know that a change is a high risk change? How do you know what's gonna be the impact if you approve the change? What kind of impact it will have on the services? What impact it will have on the ongoing incidents? How do you know uh, the history of that change, which will help you take a better decision? So we'll talk about now the risk insights, which is a section that is only available in the change management. We will show you how it looks, what are the parameters that you get to see here, and how you can configure that. Then from that, we'll move to change calendar. Change calendar is a very widely used feature for JSM. So all our customers use change calendar to get a kind of consolidated view of all the changes that are happening. You can see freeze and maintenance windows, and we have introduced few new features which I'm going to cover. The last part is if you are also using assets in JSM, you're managing your infrastructure. Now we support connecting that with changes. So it's not only the service or DevOps changes, it's also your infrastructure changes that you can manage. That is available in Risk Insights as well as the change calendar. So let's go through that. Let's move to the first part. This is the change list. So this is my project, JSM project. I'm going to changes and to all changes. That's where I get to see the entire list of changes. Just before this, I have created two changes, demo changes. So that's why they don't have a description. This is a demo change. But what's happening is I have created this change on these two services. So I am making certain change. I'm team one, making certain change on the booking service. Let's say you're a transportation website where you have to book certain hotels or flights. Now, this booking service will be impacted with my change. So I've selected that in the service itself, and I'm also changing it into another service. My change starts from today, and it will go till tomorrow. Um, and I can also see that in the change calendar. So um, this is my first change, right? Change request one. I'll come to the change calendar a little bit in a moment. So what's happening is we have this area called risk summary. What do you get to see here? You get to see number one, before you approve this change, are there any other changes that will be impacted? Are there any other changes that are being done on the same service? If yes, what are they? So that you know that to ensure that there is no change conflict, right? You get to see what incidents are going on this service that you are making change on. You don't want to make a change when there is one or more high priority incidents that are going on into that service. So you can get the summary here. Just click on this incident. It will tell you what those incidents are, what service they are on, and you can click on those incidents to see what exactly is the issue and what details is going on. And you can also get to see who is the assignee reporter, if it is assigned, of course, who is the reporter, what other discussions that are going on in the comments, right? You can summarize and use all the AI ops feature here as well. So this will give you a very high priority view that you are, and it will ensure that you are not approving a change which on a service with ongoing incidents. Now, these are something that is directly tied to what's happening now. But what about the history? In many cases, what we have seen is you also like the history of the rejected changes on the services is also important. So let's say someone last week have rejected a change because of XYZ reason. The reason still exists. It can be, hey, there is a incident going on. It can be, hey, there is a upcoming freeze window we don't want to change, or a company event before which we don't want to change the system, right? You can also see that tracker here. If any changes were rejected earlier, it will be shown here. Here, there is no rejected changes, but if 30, 60, 90 days, you can configure that. If there are any rejected change in any of these services, right, you will be able to see that. You can also see the number of failed deployments. So if you approve this change, how likely is it to be successful? How likely this change is actually going to be deployed? You need to see that. This will give you a very healthy, is basically it will give you the health parameter for your deployment pipeline. So if you see a high priority, let's say 9 out of 10 have failed, right? That's a cause of concern, and you need to know that before you approve the change. And also the team member, what was their success rate? So what happens is we have sometimes new team members coming and they are checking in changes without doing due diligence. So if you see that their changes have been rejected earlier, right, that is a red flag for change approval. Now, out of all this, you can, of course, configure that. We will go back to the same change management section. Here, you can pick and choose what is important for you and your team, so that you don't have to go through all the 5, 6 areas. So this is Risk Insights tab. You can pick and choose how you are gonna show, which risk parameters you're gonna show. If you want to show something for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, how many days of history that you need? What do you mean by rejected change? What exact, you can also see the change request status. You can create that, hey, if it is declined, if it is canceled, tell me that it is rejected, right? You can customize that as well. So you can customize based on your need of your team and your project. What we are doing, we are improving this area more and more, and we have a lot of plans, and we'll call them out once those are public. We want to make risk insights robust so that less looking for information and more time you get to make the decisions, more insights you will get to make the decisions. So this number of parameters that you see are just what we have started with. We'll continue to increase this insights for you. Okay, going back to this screen. So this is Risk Insights. You can also, if you want details, you can also go for failure rates, incidents. You can see the conflicting changes. All those are available. If you are connected to Bitbucket pipeline, if you're using Bitbucket, you can also get the list of those deployments here. So you will actually be able to see the list of those deployments. We can send you a screenshot how it looks like, but we have that already shown in the community post, so I'm not covering it. We will share the link with you. Okay, moving on to the next part, change calendar. So change calendar is, you can access change calendar under operations. And the first tab is change calendar. If you have a JSM Premium or above, and if you have a JSM Advanced ITSM template project, this will be out of the box. You don't have to enable anything for it. Now, every change that you create, this will be shown here. This will be listed here. You can, if you want to just see, hey, for a specific change, are there any other conflicts? You can see it from here as well. So are you able to hear me, by the way? Can you give me a thumbs up? Perfect. Okay. So here you can see the 3 open. So you can see the snapshot, what we were showing, the risk insights here as well, right? You can see the incidents that were there on the specific change. You can see the start date and end date. You can also see the affected services. In this case, we have two affected services. And I will talk about the assets. If you have an infrastructure related thing associated with it, you can see that as well. You can do that for any other changes. Um, what we have done here is there may be areas or time when you will have your freeze and maintenance windows implemented, right? So you can do that from change calendar. You can create your freeze and your maintenance window so that you can restrict even changes during those time. So you can click here, add event, and create a change window. Change request is just change request creation. So it will open this window. You can create your freeze and maintenance window. You can name it. And let's say I will just call it demo freeze window. And we can maybe have it till 22nd. And you can create project specific, asset specific. Let's say I want to just impact this asset. You can create service specific, so CM window, or a combination of it, so that the services which are really not impacted with this changes, with this freeze window, they are not automatically blocked, right? So if you may have like 50 services, you're freezing only two of them. You can pick and choose what those two services can be. And also, while you are creating this, it will give you kind of a overview of if there are already existing changes that you are impacting, right? So that is something that you need to be aware. If there are high priority changes that needs to go, you can see that from this window itself, rather than first creating it and then blocking those changes and then go back and forth, right? So you can see those two changes that I just discussed, what those changes are about. Okay. Another important factor where I think we got some of the highest voted customer request is it's okay that you have a JSM license. JSM licenses are also costly sometimes. So do you need a JSM license to see this calendar? Uh, a few weeks still, I think early July, the answer was yes. You needed a JSM license to see this calendar. But now we have added an export option. So you can share with your colleagues who do not have JSM license but need to see this change calendar specific views. So what you can do is you can maybe filter it by project, let's say for this project, or a type of change, or you can add more filters. You just want it to be restricted to a set of services because you don't want them to have access to all the changes. You can create that view, filtered view first, and then, or you can use JQL as well, that is available now in change calendar. And then you can simply click on this button, click on this add subscription, put a name, say CM demo link 2, and then you can select what do you want to share, only work items, do you want to share you know the freeze windows, do you want to share maintenance windows, or do you want to share everything, right? So you can just select this and generate calendar link. What you can do is just share this with your stakeholders who may or may not have JSM license, and they can simply import it to their Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, which is iCal, and Outlook, right? And we also will extend this in the future dates. So right now, these are live, and we'll also share another change calendar community post, which we have made recently, which gives you a complete Loom video view of step by step how you can do that in these three types of calendars. So with this, you can configure those and share all your change events outside of your project. But be very careful. Once you share, they will be able to access this. So at any point of time, if you are unsure that, hey, I don't no longer need that, delete this link. That's it. Their access will be revoked immediately, right? Um, we will share a community post here. Maybe Diksha, you can share the community post for change calendar and also the risk insights, both. The third change that we have made recently in the change calendar, fourth actually, is we have teams across the world. Somewhere, in some places, Sunday is the first day. In other places, it's not. Some teams want to see specific changes, right? Uh, in the calendar when you load the calendar, right? So for example, if you are a heavy user of change management, you may have hundreds of changes, right? And as an admin, you don't want your team to see that when they open the on Sunday or Monday, on Monday or Tuesday, right? So what you can do is, if you want to set up a default view, you can set it up for your team right now. So you can apply all these filters and just click on this and set view as default. What it will do is, for all the participants of this project, when they come here, they will see that default view. Of course, they can change the filters, they can go and re-enable all those views if they have access to, but that will be the default view for all of them. Now, we will automatically take care of all the access requests. So even if you set, say, default view including project 1, 2, 3, it doesn't mean that someone who doesn't have access to project 2 and 3 will be able to see all three. They will be able to see only project 1. So we will automatically take care of all the access complexities. You don't have to worry about that. But here's how you can set a default view in Change Calendar. Okay, I have one more thing to discuss, the assets. Let's get to it, and then we'll take all the questions if you have. Now, as you know, assets is one of the highest, one of the major things that comes with, um, JSM Premium and Enterprise. A lot of our customers use assets, and it has become one of the highest used feature. So earlier, late last year, we have introduced a new feature for assets, an integration feature for assets. So you have to go to the same project settings, change calendar, change settings, and there is a tab called assets. So in the change structure, we were talking about affected services. Now, service is a very locked construct. So it's a predetermined construct. So that's why we are giving it out of the box. For assets, it can be anything. It can be a laptop, it can be infrastructure, it can be firmware, it can be your AWS services. So there is no specific format that we can provide out of the box. So what we did was, we gave you an option to create custom fields for assets. So here you can create the custom field, and Diksha, you may want to ping the assets community post. We have shown you there, and we have described how you can go and step by step set up your asset custom field. You can include or exclude different asset schema and object types there, and create kind of a custom field. In this case, we have created an employee laptop custom field. And then what you can do is, you can enable that for change. Now, there are a lot of cases where asset custom fields are used for other purposes, so we don't want to automatically enable them for changes. So what you can do is, here all the change request types will be there. You can simply click on this. Employee laptop is a custom field here, and you can drag that to here. So we have dragged employee laptop into the change view. So going forward, every time you create a change, you will see this as a field. You may choose to not populate that, but you will choose to see that as a field. So here you can track infrastructure related changes. You can club it with services, or just keep it infrastructure only. You can create only services change automatically or manually. You can create infrastructure related change, and you can create a combo of both. So whenever there is an incident on a service or an infrastructure, in that incident or the service, you will get list of all the changes that has been done. That will be your primary source of truth for incident detection. So this will help you in detect. What will help you in prevent is if you automate the process as much as possible. You create those change approval processes, create those automations in place so that when you are before you actually approve a change, you do all your due diligence, use the risk insights, use the conflicts, use the open incidents, use the view that are readily available to make those decisions. This assets integration is not only available in change but also in incident. So you can go to the incident management and you can do enable that in the same way. So we have two incident types, request types, and we have enabled it both the cases. You can enable up to 20 asset custom fields in a change in a project. So that's the limit that we have. In the future, if there's a requirement, we can increase that, but that seems to be covering most of our customer needs. I will move to the question session if we have any. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. So, as Prithwish said, if you have any questions to this part, please drop your question on the chat. We have got still a few minutes, so we will be happy to answer on them. In the meantime, I will have a question about automation rules. So, do you have any recommendations according to, for example, send your team some notifications that some incidents we have or something like this?
Yeah, so the automation and change is we have basic automations. It's not still connected with the freeze and maintenance windows, which we are working on.
Okay.
You can auto approve a change based on the type of services. So let's say you can create approve change if the service, the so affected service tier is 1 or 2, right? You can create those automation rules, and many of our customers are using it. There are other automations. So what we are investing right now on to improve those and cover connected with risk insights, connected with freeze and maintenance windows, so that you can say that, hey, approve all changes only if there's no active freeze window on that service.
Okay.
Right? These are the kind of things that we are working, but approve and reject decline you can do. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. We have got one question from Shital. For change calendar sharing, there was an option for work items sharing. What details will be shared with non-JSM stakeholders?
Your change title and your change details.
And also a question, are all details shared or selective details?
Only change title and description will be shared, not all details.
Okay, thanks. And another question, is there a session on Compass?
Yeah, probably Compass is a different product. So maybe
Yeah, it's a different product. So if you can more elaborate about your question and some details, it will be helpful, because Compass is another tool and it's for components, for example, as an integration. So if you can add more details to your questions, so please do it. Okay, so the question is that we can surface all of this in Compass.
Yeah, so Your services will be available in Compass, but Compass doesn't have incident or change management. It has only alerts and on call. So you can surface the same services in Compass as components if they're part of the same site, I believe. But you cannot have change or incident management there. You need JSM for that.
Yeah, I hope that it replied on your question. I don't see more questions, so I think that we can finish for now. We have got also some survey after the meeting, so we will be very grateful if you put your comments and your feedback about this session, and also let us know what topics are interesting for you for next session. So we will be happy to read and to prepare such sessions for you. And here we have got two more sessions, which we would like to invite you. So we have got session about playbooks and automation, and it's 21st of August. And immediately after the session, this session, it will be another session hosted by me, Teach Me How to Rovo. I would like to say a little about Jira Service Management and Jira Product Discovery, and of course, Rovo product. And I see that we have got one more question. Is there a template of all assets that you can publish or give
Uh,
access to a test instance with assets?
I think you can simply have a JSM premium trial. Just create a JSM premium trial. You will instantly get access to assets for, I believe, 15 to 30 days, I believe. The second part is on the template. I believe there are asset out of the box templates, but asset is something that can be anything, right? It's very difficult to give templates because it is very specific to your organization. So maybe we can have another session on assets in the future where we can cover those asset specific questions. It's a very big topic.
Yes,
We'll,
yes, it's true. Also, as a continuation of assets, is Assets Data Manager, another very useful feature, and it will be a topic in September. So it will be also information about this session. Okay, so I think that we can finish for today. Thank you very much that you joined us. Thank you, Prithwish and Diksha, for these presentations, these sessions. I hope that all of you find these sessions insightful for you. And as always, if you have any questions, you can always find me on LinkedIn. You can ask me. If I don't know the answer, I will ask another people who know more about these topics, and I hope that also we will see during the next session. As I said, it's about playbooks and automating ITSM. So thank you very much for today. I will publish this session on YouTube, and I will send you email with link to the recording, but also link to some additional materials which Diksha sent during the session. So everything will be in one place in the email which I send you after the session. So thank you very much for today.
thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.